In this video we'll discuss how you can use XBasic classes in your server-side code. So you can see now that at the control panel now there's a category here called XBasic class. So this is in addition to XBasic function libraries and XBasic modules, both of which are used for working with XBasic functions. So XBasic classes can be defined by selecting the XBasic class category over here, and then either clicking the new button to create a new component or editing an existing one. So here you can see we have a class here called the hello class. So if we open up this class in the builder over here, we can see our XBasic class definition. So here's our class called hello class. The class itself could be added to a namespace by adding a namespace declaration over here. So I could call it my namespace : and that would add the class to its own namespace called my name. But right now we're going to just use the default namespace. So here we have a class definition, and you can see now that this class implements several different functions. A function called hello, this one here which says hello in Spanish, and this function here which says hello in Swedish. And then we have a function called hello generic, which takes an argument, and then depending on the argument it calls the appropriate function. So I'm going to go ahead here and save that, and that adds a new entry to the web control panel, to the project folder, with a file called with an extension called A5XB class. So if we go look here at the file that was just created, we can see that the file basically has an A5XB class function. So basically, now that we've defined a class, we can use the class in any of our server-side code. But before we do that, we can actually switch from the class editor here, we can switch to the interactive window to actually start testing out our class. So if we go here and say, dim foo as hello class, and then type foo dot, we can see there are all of the methods of that foo instance of the hello class definition. So we can go here in the interactive window to test out our class definition. But now let's go to a UX component where we'll use this class. So we'll go ahead now and just close that, and now go to our UX component over here, and you can see here we've basically got a drop-down control that has a language in it, English, Spanish or Swedish, and then we have a button which is going to make an AJAX callback to execute some server-side code. So this AJAX callback is calling a function called XB2. So let's go take a look at what XB2 does. So inside XB2 you can see we read the value of the language drop-down control, and then the first thing that we do is we load the class definition. So the class, as you recall, was called hello class. So inside our server-side code we're going to basically go ahead here and load that class. Now this is not strictly necessary, because XBasic will automatically resolve class definitions. So if I did not go ahead here and call the load class function, then when I went here and I dimmed H as hello class, that would still work, but there would be a delay while XBasic tries to resolve the class, determines that the class has not yet been loaded, and then goes and loads the class automatically. So you can avoid the delay in loading the class by explicitly loading the class yourself. And so if you call the load class function, you can specify the name of the class over there, and then you'll get back a flag which will either be true or false depending on whether the class was successfully loaded or not. So now that I've got the class loaded, I can go and define an instance of that class, and then I'm going to call the hello generic function, passing in the name of the language. So we'll go ahead here and we'll run this now, and I'll choose, say, Spanish, and then click the button, and you can see now that the class method has been called. So what we've shown over here is how easy it is to use XBasic classes in your server-side code. Thanks very much for watching.